Welcome to Philadelphia and the American Library Association's big annual conference. We're at the Headline Books Zoom into Books podcast pavilion. And we're talking with incredible authors, including 7-time award-winning Kirkus starred review, a gripping novel about the intersection of art and crime. I can just go on and on because you win lots of stuff. Margaret Ann Gilbert, thanks for being here.
Of course, it's my joy. Thank you, Burke. I love it. Thank you.
Let's talk about it. House of Honor. You've got a copy there.
Yep.
Hold that cover up with
there
that award-winning stamp on the front.
Yes, it just won this last night, so very exciting in the suspense category.
Congrats. It's a novel.
It is.
And you said it's an art heist novel, so tell me more.
So this whole book really is, you might even say, creative nonfiction, because the painting by Caravaggio, which is his Nativity painting, it's this particular painting right here, because they put the art in the book, that was cut out of the frame with a box cutter in 1969. And in Palermo, Italy.
Real life.
Real life.
True story.
This is real life.
Okay.
Rolled up in a rug, and it has never been found. And I found out this little detail from a book I was reading on Caravaggio, and I thought, how can this be possible? Someone just walks into a church and cuts out this masterpiece. It's worth like $50 million today if they found it. And what happened? And why did it happen? And why? I mean, who does that? So I got a little bit obsessed on trying to figure that out, and that led me on 3 years of research to get that answer. And then when I did the research, I thought at the end of that journey, I've got quite a good story here. I got to write it. So I wasn't originally going to write the book. I was just trying to find out the answer to the question, but that led me to want to write it.
Are you an art aficionado? Did you
My mother was a painter.
I see.
And so I grew up in a big art milieu, and I lived in Chicago, so we went to the Art Institute of Chicago all the time. And my mom loved the Impressionists, and she painted in that style. And she never told me about Caravaggio. So this was a brand new artist for me. Basically 11 years ago is when I first discovered his art. And so that was really fun because it wasn't a genre that I knew, and it made me want to know more about it. So yeah, that was part of it.
When you started to do the research for the book, although it is fiction, you obviously tried to figure this out. You had to learn about this guy, this heist and all that. Is there anything that surprised you in the research? You're like, ooh, I got to put that detail in.
Oh, yes. I mean, his life. He killed someone. I mean, Caravaggio was...
The artist did?
Yeah, he was quite a handful. He's called the bad boy of the Renaissance, and for good reason. I mean, he walked around Rome with a sword, and that was illegal in that day, and he ended up killing someone by piercing the femoral artery and fighting over the models that they were using for their art. It was like territorial warfare back in that day as to who were you using, and you can't take my models because that's my property.
And when did he live?
He died in 1570 he was born, 1610 is when he died.
Okay.
So he lived a pretty short life. He wasn't around that long. Yeah.
Sounds like he was a tough guy.
He had a sad life because every male relative of his died in the second round of the Black Plague. And his mother felt terrible that he might die as well. So she shipped him off to an artist as a child to be apprenticed, and then he never came back. So he lost a lot of footing in losing his father, his grandfather, his uncles. I mean, yeah, it was devastating to him. So, yeah.
So let's fast forward to House of Honor.
Yeah.
This novel that you wrote about this painting that's taken. When is it set, and sort of set the scene for us?
Yeah, so the novel itself is set really in two places. Northern Italy, Bergamo, which is where the Bordoni family live. And that family is a very upright Italian family. They're very wealthy. They laid all the roads through the Alps. There are generations of stonecutters and road builders. And the main character is expected to be a part of that and continue his whole life cutting stone and building roads. And he's not having it. And so he leaves the family. He goes to Rome to strike out his artistic fortune. And he meets Nicolo Giotto. And he is from Sicily, and he is from a very prominent, wealthy mafia family. And of course, he doesn't know that at first. And they meet, and they both have fathers who are very interested in art. And so Nicolo entices Orazio to come down to Palermo to see his family life and business. And so he does. And that is when things really get a little out of control. Because Orazio wants a father who appreciates his love of art and his passion to make something of himself with art. And Nicolo Giotto's father understands that. And so he draws him into the web of their mafia family. And the book is divided into 3 sections, 1967, 68, and 69. And 69 is the year the painting was taken. So it starts with the heist. The book, of course, starts with the most dramatic moment, which is the heist itself.
I saw a quote about your book, and they say it's The Godfather meets the Da Vinci Code. Is that an apt description to the way you write?
Absolutely. I think so, because it's not in the sense of, it's not like Gnostic spirituality. I think that this book is very much more art-centered than the Da Vinci Code. The art is designed to tell the narrative. If you were to rip every painting out of the book and lay them in chronological order, and you had read this book, you would be able to see the Easter eggs along the way that lead you through the plot. So the art is the secret keeper and the teller in the story.
So the actual painting, you said, is still never been found.
Never
still
been
in 69.
found. Yeah, never.
So you may know more about this than most people because you did all this research for the book. Any guesses where that thing is now?
Yeah, I really do believe that the mafia has the painting to this day. I think they have it. Yeah, they love to take high-end objects, and it's a way of sort of family prestige to have something that only they have and no one else knows they have it. And in a number of, I would call them bargaining court cases, where you tell us something as a pentito and we'll, give this person a new life in America.
I'm sorry, what is that word again?
Pentito in Italian is like the repentant person who's going to tell something for the sake of getting a new identity or getting paid off or getting a reward or something. And in real life, there have been a number of presentations in court about what happened to the painting by very different mafia people, but they all have a story of what they know about where the painting is, and no one else is saying that. So the fact that they're the storytellers about all these different theories, it makes me think they probably have it.
So you're telling me that this painting may be hanging in somebody's living room in New Jersey somewhere?
It's possible it's under a bed, yes, and that they would bring it out at a commission meeting when they do their commission meetings. That's when you bring everybody together. It's possible that that's when it might be revealed. Yeah, I think it's very possible.
All right, now listen, I grew up in a small town, and my dad used to tell me never to get puffed up, which means you never get too proud about things, but you've got to be blown away by the reception to this book. Yeah,
I am. Honestly, I never expected the New York literary community to really embrace this book. It's a kind of I would describe it as a bit of a highbrow book in the sense of it's Caravaggio. This is not like my child's, school art. It's got to be really well represented.
Sure.
And the journal entries that I created, they had to be accurate. And so it took a long time, but there was something about the way that those elements intersected for the reviewers. Because you've got family, you've got loyalty, you've got honor. It's House of Honor, right? Who is the House of Honor in the story? And then you have all this art and art history, and that was the first sort of breakout for the book, was the Kirkus Start review. It really was, and then it kind of went on from there. So it's been great.
What do you hope happens next?
What do I hope happens next? I think just being here has been so good for the book, because it's a small press. It's not a big, Macmillan. It's not one of these huge companies. And so I think that it's been a joy to connect it to so many librarians and see it go and have them want to take it into their arenas. And so I think what's next is continuing to build the distribution of the product of the book into corridors and museum shops. I mean, there's so many places it can go where it's not there. So that's kind of what's next. But in my writing, I'm definitely going to write a novel about dance. My daughter is a professional dancer.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I got to do one about dance. I have to. So.
Will the mob be involved in that one?
No, it's going to be set probably in France. It's going to be a different kind of book. But Yeah, this was, people who have read this have said to me, gosh, are you ever worried about like getting knocked off over this book? I'm like, not really, but it scares me that you are.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for telling me. Right, exactly. Yeah, so.
Well, much success. This
Thank you.
screams limited series to me. I can see this on TV.
That's so fun. I had, did you see Ripley? The Ripley series?
Yes.
Yeah, the guy who directed that, he actually wrote the screenplay for that. And when this was coming out, a really good friend of mine out there gave him the manuscript, and so
you never know.
You never know what's going to happen. Yeah. So
Wishing
we'll see.
you much success.
Thank you. Thank you so much for chatting.
There
Really
she is, the
appreciate it.
award-winning, multi-award-winning Margaret Ann Kilbrick. Hold that book up one more time for the camera. There it is, House of Honor. Hey, thanks for stopping by today.
Hey, thanks for having me. Pleasure.